Hello and thank you for tuning into News Today. Without delay, take a look at the headlines first. US Congress passed promoting a resolution to the Tibet-China Dispute Act. Multiple sections of Telecommunications Act 2023 come into effect. RBI announces SARC currency swap framework for 2024-27. RBI's financial stability report highlights achievements in non-performing assets. Paraguay becomes 100th full-time member of International Solar Alliance. 2024 International MSME Day has been commemorated. In our very first news, in a significant development, the US Congress has passed the Promoting a Resolution to the Tibet-China Dispute Act. This landmark legislation outlines a clear stance on the long-standing Tibet-China conflict. The act establishes that US policy supports resolving the dispute between Tibet and China through peaceful means in accordance with international law and the UN Charter. It emphasizes the importance of dialogue without preconditions. Notably, the legislation backs the Dalai Lama's middle way approach. This approach envisions Tibet remaining part of the People's Republic of China while granting Tibetans meaningful autonomy. To understand the context, let's briefly review the history of the Tibet-China dispute. In the early 20th century, following a short military conflict with China, Tibet declared itself an independent nation in 1912. It functioned autonomously until 1950. In 1951, a pivotal moment occurred when the Dalai Lama's representatives signed a 17-point agreement. This document, for the first time, granted China sovereignty over Tibet. However, the interpretation of this agreement remains contentious. China views it as proof of its sovereignty, while Tibet claims it was coerced into signing. India has played a significant role in this complex geopolitical issue. In 1959, India granted asylum to the Dalai Lama after a failed uprising in Tibet. However, since 2003, the Indian government has officially recognized the Tibet Autonomous Region as part of the People's Republic of China. This shift in India's stance came after the signing of the Declaration on Principles for Relations and Comprehensive Cooperation between India and China. In conclusion, the passage of this US Act brings renewed attention to the Tibet-China dispute on the international stage. It underscores the importance of peaceful resolution and respect for international law in addressing this complex historical and political issue. Moving ahead, in a prominent move to modernize India's telecommunications landscape, multiple sections of the Telecommunications Act 2023 have come into effect. This new legislation aims to overhaul the legal framework governing the development, expansion, and operation of telecommunication services and networks in the country. The Act is guided by four key principles: inclusion, security, growth, and responsiveness. It marks a major update to India's telecom regulations, repealing both the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885 and the Indian Wireless Telegraphy Act of 1933, acknowledging the enormous technological advancement in the telecom sector. Let's look at some of the salient features now in force. First, the Act provides clear definitions for various terminologies such as telecommunication, spectrum, and user. This clarity is expected to reduce uncertainties, boost investor confidence, and improve ease of doing business in the sector. Second, it establishes a right-of-way framework that will be granted on a non-discriminatory and non-exclusive basis. Third, the central government has been empowered to notify standards and conformity assessment measures for telecommunication services, network, security, and equipment. Fourth, there's a strong focus on user protection. The Act allows the central government to implement measures like requiring prior consent for advertising messages and creating Do Not Disturb registers. Finally, the Act expands the scope of the Universal Service Obligation Fund, now renamed as the Digital Bharat Nidhi. This fund, under the central government control, can support research and development of telecommunication services, technologies, products, and pilot projects. The Act holds significance as it aims to enhance security and quality in telecommunication services while placing greater emphasis on consumer protection and national security. In conclusion, as India continues its digital transformation, this new regulatory framework is expected to play a crucial role in shaping the future of the country's telecommunications sector. Moving ahead, in financial news today, the Reserve Bank of India has announced a revised SAR currency swap framework for 2024-27. This update, made in agreement with the Union government, aims to strengthen financial cooperation among South Asian nations. The framework allows the RBI to enter bilateral swap agreements with central banks of SAARC countries seeking such facilities. For context, a currency swap arrangement or CSA is a contract where two parties exchange currencies at a set rate and later re-exchange them at an agreed rate on a future date. Previously, in 2012, SAARC countries set up Framework on Currency Swap Mechanism to meet the short-term forex liquidity requirement. Let's discuss the key highlights of the revised framework. A key feature of the revised framework is the introduction of a separate INR swap window. This new window offers various concessions for swap support in Indian rupees with a total corpus of 250 billion rupees. The RBI will also continue to offer swap arrangements in US dollars and euros under a separate window with an overall corpus of 2 billion US dollars. It's important to note that this isn't India's first involvement in currency swap agreements. The country has made similar arrangements like BRICS Contingent Reserve Agreement signed in 2015. Also, the India-Japan bilateral CSA amounting to $75 billion, and few others like India-UAE CSA, India-Sri Lanka CSA, etc. These currency swap arrangements serve crucial purposes. They help maintain financial stability during crisis by providing a backstop line of funding for foreign exchange liquidity requirements. Additionally, they assist in addressing short-term balance of payment stress. In conclusion, the revised SAARC currency swap framework underscores India's commitment to regional financial stability and cooperation.
Ahead, we delve into the highlights from the Reserve Bank of India's Financial Stability Report, focusing on the significant achievements in reducing non-performing assets or NPAs. The biannual Financial Stability Report, based on the assessment of the Subcommittee of the Financial Stability and Development Council, reveals some encouraging trends. As of March 2024, the gross NPAs and net NPA ratios for scheduled commercial banks have dropped to multi-year lows, standing at 2.8% and 0.6% respectively. For those unfamiliar, NPAs refer to loans or advances of a bank that are in default or arrears. A loan is considered in arrears when the principal or interest payments are late or missed. It becomes an NPA when the interest or installment of the principal remains overdue for more than 90 days. GNPAs are the sum of all loan assets classified as NPAs. Several factors contribute to the rise of NPAs. There's been a surge in willful defaults amounting to Rs 3,53,874 crore as of March 2023. Additionally, there has been an increase in bank frauds with 14,483 cases reported between April and September 2023, up from 5,396 cases in the same period in 2022. Non-compliance with regulatory directions regarding banking operations by public sector banks also plays a significant role. To combat this issue, various measures have been taken. The SARFAESI Act of 2002 allows secured creditors to take possession of collateral upon a default in repayment. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016 facilitates the reorganization and insolvency resolution of corporate partnership firms and individuals within 180 days with an extended period of 90 days. Additionally, the National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited was established to resolve stressed assets above Rs 500 crore. NPAs are classified into three categories. Substandard assets are NPAs for a period less than or equal to 12 months. Doubtful assets are those that have remained in the substandard category for 12 months. Loss assets are those where a loss has been identified by the company, internal or external auditor, or the RBI, but the amount has not been written off wholly. In conclusion, the reduction in non-performing assets is a positive sign for the financial stability of India. Through continued vigilance and effective implementation of regulatory measures, we can ensure that this trend continues, fostering a healthier banking sector. In our next news, in a significant milestone in the global solar energy movement, Paraguay has become the 100th full-time member of the International Solar Alliance. This achievement underscores the growing global commitment to sustainable energy solutions. The ISA, a treaty-based intergovernmental organization, was launched by India and France in 2015 during the Conference of Parties 21 of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Paris. Its headquarters are located in Gurugram, India. The primary objective of the ISA is to provide a dedicated platform for cooperation among solar resource-rich countries to support the increasing use of solar energy. The ISA Framework Agreement entered into force in 2017, and with the amendment of its Framework Agreement in 2020, all member states of the UN are now eligible to join the ISA. The alliance is guided by its Towards 1000 strategy, which aims to mobilize $1,000 billion of investments in solar energy by 2030, deliver energy access to 1,000 million people, and to achieve 1,000 gigawatt of solar energy installation. Now let's delve into the importance of the ISA. For India, it plays a crucial role in leading the clean energy transition, achieving net neutrality by 2070, and ensuring energy security. On a global scale, the ISA helps mitigate global solar emissions, reducing 1,000 million tons of carbon dioxide every year, and fosters market development for solar energy. However, the path to widespread solar adoption is not without its challenges. The dominance of China in the solar supply chain, technical difficulties in grid integration, and low private investment due to risks and uncertainties are significant hurdles that need to be addressed. To overcome these challenges, the ISA has initiated several programs. The Solar Technology Application Resource Center, or STARC, aims at capacity building and institutional strengthening. The One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative seeks to connect different regional grids through a common grid to transfer renewable energy power. The Global Solar Facility aims to catalyze solar investments in underserved segments and geographies across Africa. Additionally, the ISA Solar Fellowship for Mid-Career Professionals focuses on developing qualified professional manpower for the management of solar energy projects to meet the long-term development needs of member countries. As Paraguay joins the ISA as its 100th member, this marks a significant step forward in the global effort to harness solar energy and combat climate change. The ISA continues to expand its influence and drive towards a sustainable future, demonstrating the power of international cooperation. Ahead in the news, let's discuss the International MSME Day 2024, commemorated on June 27th. This year's theme is MSMEs and the SDGs, highlighting the crucial role of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in achieving sustainable development goals, particularly SDG 8, which focuses on decent work and economic growth, and SDG 9, which emphasizes industry, innovation, and infrastructure. MSMEs are the backbone of the global economy. They account for 90% of the businesses worldwide, provide 60 to 70% of employment, and contribute to 50% of GDP. In India, the significance of MSMEs is equally pronounced, with their gross value added constituting 29.1% of the national GDP for 2021-22 and their share in exports amounting to 43.59% for 2022-23. However, despite their importance, MSMEs face several challenges. One of the most pressing issues is access to finance. Currently, the supply of credit from commercial banks meets only 16% of the credit demand of MSMEs, leading to inadequate access to working capital. Additionally, there are hurdles in accessing markets with limited exposure to global exports and constraints related to international quality standards. The business environment also poses difficulties, with numerous regulatory compliances, delays in customs clearance, policy uncertainty, and an inverted duty structure that hampers access to raw materials. To support MSMEs, various initiatives have been launched. To improve access to finances, schemes like the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana and priority sector lending for MSMEs have been implemented. To enhance performance, programs such as Raising and Accelerating MSME Performance Program and the Atmanirbhar Skilled Employee-Employer Mapping Portal are in place. Let's now take a quick look at the definition of micro, small and medium enterprises in India. For micro enterprises, the investment in plant and machinery should be less than or equal to 1 crore rupees and the annual turnover should be less than or equal to 5 crore rupees. For small enterprises, the investment should be less than or equal to 10 crore rupees and the annual turnover should be less than or equal to 50 crore rupees. For medium enterprises, the investment should be less than or equal to 50 crore rupees and the annual turnover should be less than or equal to 250 crore rupees. In conclusion, while MSMEs play a pivotal role in driving economic growth and innovation, addressing their challenges is crucial for realizing their full potential.
As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. Privileges Committee of Rajya Sabha held 12 opposition MPs guilty of misconduct for disrupting House proceedings. The committee is responsible for investigating and addressing breaches of parliamentary privileges. President addressed the joint sitting of Parliament after the formation of the 18th Lok Sabha. Article 86 allows the President to address either House of Parliament or both houses together. President has not so far addressed under this provision. India participated at Commonwealth Local Government Forum annual board meeting in Sri Lanka with theme Reinforcing Social Resilience Through Women's Political Representation. The CLGF is headquartered in London, UK, and was established in 1995. South Korea, US, and Japan began their first trilateral multi-domain exercise, Freedom Edge. Freedom Edge exercise took place in South Korea's southern island of Jeju. Exercise comes amid North Korea and Russia's signing a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty to deepen security cooperation. Union Ministry of State for Science and Technology to launch 2 geoportals, Bhuvan Panchayat 4.0 and National Database for Emergency Management. National-level geospatial databases for these 2 portals are created by ISRO. Advanced Artificial Intelligence System for early detection of forest fires has been launched at Pench Tiger Reserve. The Tiger Reserve is spread across states of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh in lower southern reaches of Satpura Hills. It got the status of National Park in 1975 and Tiger Reserve in 1992. UN-backed Network Principles for Responsible Investment has launched SPRING, a new initiative to halt or reverse nature loss by 2030. The initiative is supported by a coalition of 200 investors managing a combined $15 trillion in assets. Scientists recorded a lone mainland serow in western Assam's Ramona National Park. These areas are an altitude of 200 to 3,000 meters in the Himalayas in Indian subcontinent, southern China, mainland Southeastern Asia, and Sumatra. Recently, a report raised concerns over intensive animal agriculture or factory farming. It refers to a system of raising livestock and poultry in high-density facilities under controlled conditions to maximize production efficiency and output of dairy products at lower cost. DRDO has successfully completed 10 developmental trials of Abhyas. It is a high-speed expendable aerial target. It offers a realistic threat scenario for practice of weapon systems. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. We appreciate your company. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to today's quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.